Hello, my name is Denise Galoni. A number of years ago, I started my own business. I had so many wonderful women help me along the way. I wanted to introduce you to some of those women so they can help inspire and empower you. Today, my guests are Jane Rayenkamp, the owner of All Good Things Coaching, and Jennifer Worlow, owner of Jennifer Worlow Holistic Life Coach. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. My guest today is Jane Rayenkamp. She's a professional coach, a retreat leader, keynote speaker, workshop facilitator, and the owner of All Good Things Coaching. Hi, Jane. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. I'm honored.
I mentioned you're a professional coach.
Right.
What exactly is a professional coach?
Well, a professional coach is one that is a coach that works with individuals. I've had a ton of training. I have about 300 hours of coaching right now. And we, as a coach, what we do is, I was just away for the weekend and they talked a lot about accompaniment.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We accompany our clients wherever they're going in their life. We walk with them. Sometimes we're in front of them and we're kind of like urging them on.
Right.
Sometimes we're behind them, pushing a little bit. Most of the time we're right next to them, just kind of holding space for them, asking some questions, maybe holding up a mirror to get them to understand a little better what they want to do differently in their life at that time.
Okay. Have you always been a coach?
No, I haven't always been a coach. So I've worked for the same organization for 35 years. And
wow, congratulations. That's
I know,
a long
right?
time. That's
it
rare.
It is a long time, yeah. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. But back in 2007, I was offered the opportunity to go to this leadership program, and they paid for 15 credits of training, or of class. So I found back then, Duquesne University was had a school of leadership, and I went back to school and I thought, I'll take one leadership class, graduate class, and see what happens. So I went to school the first day, and I knew then that I was going to get my master's and that I was going to become a teacher there. And it's the first time, so I had to be, 50-ish, and it was the first time I remembered that or realized I'm going to do something, and I've done it. This is what I'm going to do. So I kind of connected with Duquesne. I've spent a lot of time there. They had leadership breakfasts, which I would go to. And so many people would say to me, you have to become a coach. You would be so good. We have a coaching program. So I had thought about it, and I really wanted to do it at work originally. And I was waiting to hear back from the organization. Would they pay? Would they allow me to do it? And I was drying my hair one morning. And I heard that voice inside of us, and it said, what are you waiting for? Like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
So I applied that day. I got accepted to the program. I had just recently been divorced, and I was on my own. I had just bought a house, so I didn't have the money.
Right.
And I thought, we'll figure this out. So I went into a bank, and they offered me money, and I borrowed the money, and I became a coach.
Sometimes when you have a plan, there's something you want to do, you find the ways to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And I applaud you, too, for getting a master's degree. I know when I went back for my master's degree, I was probably the second oldest person in class.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone usually gets their bachelor's and goes right in their master's.
Right,
and
exactly.
it's intimidating.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's intimidating.
But it was a wonderful, wonderful program, and it opened up so many things for me. So.
You're never too old to learn or try something new.
No, absolutely not. And that's funny because when I hear people now talking about, they're like 30, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm 59. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do next.
And you probably, 20 years ago, never would have thought you'd go down this path.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was, happily married, 3 kids, raising them, working for the organization, moving, up in the organization into positions. I would have never in a million years guessed what I would be doing now.
I always tell people, when one door closes, another one opens.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's hard to see that time. And probably as coaching, you see that out too.
Right, exactly.
People think, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen and all this is going on, but something always happens.
Absolutely.
And good things will follow.
Yeah, and you just have to be open to them. You have to just be open to what's coming next.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your company, All Good Things Coaching.
Yeah, so I started that probably a year ago. I got my coaching certification completed in 2015, and then I've been working up through credentialing and some different training since then. So I started my business. I couldn't come up with a name. Like, I wanted to have a name.
It's the hardest part sometimes.
Yeah, and years ago, a woman signed an email to me and said, "Peace and all good things," and I thought, boy, what a way to end the email or a
Right.
blessing. And so it came to me, all good things. That's, really what I'm trying to do with my coaching and the other things that I do is just have everybody recognize that there are really good things that can come in their life. And I want to help them get to those if I can.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful mission. So what types of services do you offer in your company?
So I do one-on-one coaching with individuals. I do some work in my church with couples strengths coaching.
Okay.
So there's a program. I'm connected with a gentleman who runs those. I lead retreats. You mentioned that
Right,
earlier,
right.
which I love.
That has to be fun.
It is fun, and they're so powerful. It's usually a group of women. We usually sit in a circle, and just to one person speaking and the other 29 people there are nodding, like they say, there's like just we're all in this together, and we are all so similar. Even though we look different, we sound different, we're different ages, we just all have the same challenges.
Right. And sometimes our problems aren't unique.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's wonderful to hear someone talk about it and think, well, I have that same
Right.
issue.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Jane, if people contact a life coach, what common issues are they having? Is there like a common theme that you see that people will contact you?
Well, it depends. There's a lot of different things. A lot of times people are in transition, so from
Okay.
one part of their life to another. There was a woman who came to me a while ago, and her children were getting older, getting out of high school, and she was going to have more time. She had been working at a part-time position. She wasn't sure what she wanted to do next, but she knew she wanted to do something. So we worked together, looked at her strengths, looked at her values.
Okay.
She went back to school and got her real estate license and is now a real estate agent and loves it. I'm working with a woman now who really does not like her position, her job, and
Okay.
she's not sure what to do next. So it's usually people that have been stuck, for lack of a better term, or are stuck and realize it's time to do something different. I have some people I just work with once a month, and it's just kind of little tweaking. One of the women I worked with, she spent the last 20 years waiting for her children to get done with school and on their way. She's a single woman, and now it's her time. So we just went through, so what does that look like for you? What do you want to do next? She got involved in dragon boat racing, which is an interesting story because I run vision board programs.
Okay.
And so she was at one of my vision board programs, and she said, I want to be outside more. I don't know what it is. So she got this picture, and she put it on her vision board, and she said, I don't even know what that is. And I said, well, that's a dragon boat. That's dragon boat racing. And she said, well, I'm just putting it on there because it looks like fun and it's outdoors.
Right.
Well, she calls me a week later, and she is working, and a woman comes in that's been a friend of hers for years that she hasn't seen, and asked her, does she want to join her dragon boat race team? And so she started dragon boat racing, and then after she got that part of her life kind of settled, now she had some financial challenges, so we're working on that.
Okay.
And some social ideas. So it's a lot of different challenges, sometimes some transitions, and sometimes it's just, hey, I know this isn't working for me the way I want it to. Let's just sit down and see what else I need to do in my life to make it
You mentioned
better.
vision boards. I teach some vision board
Oh, do
workshops.
you? Yeah.
Can you explain to the audience what a vision board is and the power of a vision board?
Oh my goodness. So the power of vision board is, it really does affect your brain. I mean, it changes your brain. So what I do for my vision boards is I just kind of start with asking some questions. What do you want in your life? What do you want your life to look like? It could be for the year. It could be in the next 5 years. It could be when I retire from work, whatever. And have some ideas what's important to you. And I do it all visually, right? So I
do too,
have
right.
I have the
Poster
board and the pictures from the magazines, and they cut them out and put them on their vision board. And again, we share. So I do it usually in a group of people. I think it would be great for like a party, like a,
Right.
you know, a wedding party or a graduation party or your 16th birthday. What a wonderful thing to
Oh my
spend time
gosh,
with
yes.
16-year-olds
Yes.
looking at what your life's going to be. But you put it out there, and you're just, I believe, the universe, God, whoever it is you want to say, just draws those things into your life. The first one that I did, I had water, and I had vacations, because those were both really important to me, and I was trying to figure out how to get my kids to come on vacation with me, and I love being around water. And so that was in my bedroom for years, and that created now a goal of mine that I want to have a townhouse at the lake that my kids could come to for
Right.
vacation. But it's amazing, like I told the Dragon Boat story, I have so many stories of people that put it out there on their vision board. You look at it every day, and subconsciously, the way your brain works, it's like priming it. Oh, that's what I want to do. And so then you put yourself in positions to accomplish that.
And as you said, it's as simple as going to a dollar store, buying a poster
right,
board,
exactly, yeah.
and cutting pictures out of a magazine and
Right.
gluing them on there.
Right, exactly.
And it's so powerful.
Right, and then we share it. Like what I really like about it, the way I do it also, and you probably do, is at the end everyone shares them. So now it's not just me that has this vision. It's now I'm surrounded by supportive people, the same place in their life, that they're putting it out there as well. So I think it's great. Yeah.
You also do a lot with mindfulness, Jane.
I do, yeah. I love
What is mindfulness?
Okay, so mindfulness is, there's so many definitions, but the definition that I like to use is by Jon Kabat-Zinn, and he is the current guru of mindfulness. And he says that it is paying attention to the present moment on purpose and non-judgmentally.
Okay.
And Anne Lamott, one of my favorite writers, says it's being where your feet are. So many times we're in the present, we're in the past, we're judging, we're, walking in, oh, she looks nice. Oh, why'd she wear that shirt today? Her hair looks really pretty. Well, she quit, whatever,
Right.
like all of those things in your mind. And mindfulness is just taking a moment, being in the present moment, understanding where you are and really appreciating it with no judgment. I should be somewhere else. It's too hot. It's too cold, whatever the case may be.
Can you give the audience a few tips how to do that?
Oh, sure.
How to be more mindful?
Right. So one of the parts of mindfulness, but they are different, is meditation. And you can meditate anywhere for any amount of time. And that's just sitting quietly. It could be a minute. And paying attention to your breathing. And those thoughts are going to come into your mind. That's the way our minds work. But instead of engaging them and thinking them all the way through, just kind of recognize them and send them on their way. That actually changes your brain and the way your brain works,
Okay.
and it strengthens your prefrontal
Right.
cortex, and it weakens your amygdala, and so that you do react less, you're less stressed and all of those things. But there's a lot of other simple ways. You have your cup of coffee in the morning, right? Just take the minute to smell that coffee as it's made. If you use cream and you're stirring it, pay attention to when it goes from the dark color to the color you want. Take that first sip and really taste it. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? I have a dog, and every morning I let him out in the morning, and I take 20 seconds to look up at the sky. I walk out on a deck with him. I look up. I see the stars. I am where I am at that moment. At the end of the night, the same way.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways. You can go to work. Like today, I'm somewhere, I don't know where I am. No, I came to Bethel Park, and I've been here
Right.
before, but I had to really be mindful of which way I was coming, because usually you just drive the same way. So certain things like that could really help bring mindfulness into your everyday life.
Great tips. So what's next for Jane?
Oh, I'm not sure. Well, short term, what's next for me is I really want to have more retreats. I really want to facilitate more retreats. And so I'll be reaching out to different churches, different community groups, retreat centers. I'm going to get my vision board programs up and running. And long term, I'm looking to retire from my current job and really build my business. I would love to do more with training, with coaching, with learning, with volunteering. There's a lot of other things that I really am excited to be doing.
Well, I'll be excited to see everything that new for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today,
Oh,
Jane.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
today is Jennifer Warlow. She's the owner of Jennifer Warlow Holistic Life Coach. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, Denise. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. I actually started off, I was a long haul truck driver. I was also a landscaper. So, and all those things led me into being a personal chef, which then in turn led me to being a holistic life coach, because I kept getting these calls from people that kept asking me like, hey, I was just diagnosed with diabetes. Can you help me figure out how to implement this into my lifestyle?
Yes.
Probably the most heartbreaking call I got was from desperate parents whose son was getting ready to go into chemo. And there was nothing I could do because I had no guidelines at that point. So I went to school through Nutrition Therapy Institute, completed their nutrition therapy practitioner program and their master nutrition therapist program. And I just recently completed the Institute for the Psychology of Eating program as well.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I just help people figure out how to implement healthier dietary decisions and how to get cooking back into their lives a little bit more, maybe eat at home a little bit more, and any other lifestyle suggestions I might be able to give them.
Okay. Was it fun being a personal chef?
It was. I enjoyed the dinner parties a little bit more than doing the 2 weeks worth of food in one day.
Yeah.
But because it was like, okay, one meal, cool. I've got to concentrate on one meal rather than, okay, I've got 7 meals I got to figure out here.
What made you decide to start your own business?
I just like being able to control my own schedule. But ultimately, though, I want to help other people because I understand the challenges that come with, especially people with non-traditional schedules like truck drivers, bartenders,
Absolutely.
even retail workers. They don't always have that Monday through Friday set schedule. So it makes it very difficult for them to implement any kind of health plan, dietary plan, anything like that. So I really wanted to try to have a flexible schedule to accommodate those folks because they can't always make it to their doctor's offices or nutrition offices that have those traditional hours.
Right.
So I wanted to be a little more flexible, which is also why I also offer virtual consultations as well.
And I was going to ask you, what types of services do you offer as a holistic life coach?
I offer individual coaching, family coaching. I also do one-on-one cooking classes where I'll actually go to their house and work with what they have to show them that it can be done.
It can be, okay.
Even if it's like 5 ingredients, 1 pot, you can do this.
Because I think sometimes we make it more difficult than it is.
Absolutely. And I think I think a lot of people that I talk to, they've watched a little too much of the food cooking shows, where it's like nobody cares how big your dice is at home.
Right.
They just care if it's edible,
Right.
whether or not it looks good. So that's one thing I'm trying to get out there is the fact that healthy food doesn't have to be yucky, because I think a lot of people have that preconceived notion that it's not going to taste good.
Right.
It has to look good. It has to smell good. It has to engage all those senses in order for your body to absorb it correctly. Because if it doesn't, then your body actually doesn't absorb it. Your digestive system won't absorb it correctly.
Do you think it's a problem that most people have? They don't eat the proper nutrition?
Some people, yes. But other times, too, it's the fact that some people eat too quickly.
Okay.
Which is actually a more common problem. Whereas if you eat too quickly, that adage about your stomach has to send that signal to your brain that it's full.
Oh, okay.
So when you eat too quickly, your body your brain doesn't register the fact that it got all the enjoyment and fulfillment out of that it wanted to. So it tells you, well, no, you need to eat more. And so it's a whole cycle that comes, whereas a lot of folks, if you're able to slow down, be present while you're eating, all of a sudden you realize that some of the stuff you're eating you really don't like in a lot of cases. I actually worked with one guy that's exactly what happened. He thought he loved fast food.
Oh my gosh.
And once he slowed down and really started to be present and actually taste that food. He was like, that stuff is horrible.
And we just talked about mindfulness a little while ago with the first guest.
okay.
So yes, so you really just stop and think about what you're eating.
Exactly, because a lot of people, especially people who do work those odd shifts, they're eating in their car. They have a half an hour to eat.
Right.
So I kind of go through and I teach them, like, okay, well, hey, here's how to pack a good lunch for yourself. So that way you don't have to run out to go get something. You have it right there, but then you have a full half hour to sit and eat that.
I think too with families, with kids running to soccer and dance and everywhere else, it's just easier sometimes
It's
just to drive through somewhere because
ridiculous.
they don't have
Yes.
time.
Exactly. I actually just started working with a family that they've got 7 kids
Oh my gosh.
that range from 5 to 16 and 2 working parents. And I'm like, I don't know how you're doing this, but I will do my best to help you with this, to figure out how to work this out for you guys.
What do you think people would be surprised to know about the things that they're eating?
Probably the fact that a lot of the fast food doesn't taste as good as you think it does. And it's probably doing more damage than if you were to make better choices. Like, sometimes maybe having those healthier snacks in the car will be a better option than doing the quick fly through at McDonald's. And it's in some cases, it's the same cost. It just takes a little more planning, a little more, and if you do have kids, it's like, get them involved. Help them pack the baby carrots into little snack bags. Like, get
That's true.
them involved, because if they did it, they're going to be like, well, where are the carrots I packed that I helped you with? Well, why aren't we using this? Like,
That's a good point.
And they kind of hold you accountable.
And I think sometimes
for
we
doing
think
it,
healthy has to
too.
be expensive, and it doesn't have to be
It
expensive.
absolutely doesn't. I know, obviously organic is always the best, but that doesn't fit into everybody's budget.
Right.
Make the best choices you can within the budget that you have.
Jen, can you give us a couple of tips for that? Like how can we get the most out of being, I guess, nutrition and what we're eating?
Well, I know being based in Pittsburgh, it's tough, especially going into November.
With the farmers
With the
markets,
farmers
everything.
markets. But ultimately, whenever they are in season, that is the best way to go.
Okay.
Talk to your local farmers, find out what their farming practices are, because unfortunately, being certified organic is very expensive.
Okay.
So a lot of times they're not able to get certified to be organic, but they are
Interesting.
using organic practices.
Okay.
If you talk to them and find that out. But if not, just go in, shop the produce aisle first. Then base everything else off of whatever you're getting produce wise. Because if you fill your plates up more with produce and whole grains and a little bit less animal proteins,
Okay.
you might actually find that you have more food, more calories, better quality calories.
So I think we look at calories and we think, oh, that's too many calories. We
Absolutely.
avoid the carbs or avoid this because that's what we've heard for so many years.
Exactly. And plates have grown over the years.
Right.
It's
sizes have
amazing.
grown.
Well, because restaurants started offering more.
Right.
So then we thought, oh, well, wait a minute. We need to have bigger portion sizes at home, too. So then the plates got bigger, and it just kept getting bigger, 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 bigger. So a lot of people don't realize that. And then they go back and they look at grandma's plates, and they're like, wait a minute, that's the size of our sandwich plate now.
That's true.
So, and that's even something, if you do have sandwich plates, start using the sandwich plates instead of the big dinner plates.
So try to eat organic. And try
When you can.
When you can. Farmers market's always good.
Yes, absolutely. And shop the outside aisles first at the grocery stores, because all of the mass produce stuff is all in the center aisles. But obviously that's where also your whole grains and like your rice, your quinoa, and all those kind of things are too.
Right.
And just try to get as much color into your diet as possible. Like I know something fun that friends of mine started to do was they added a new vegetable every week, and they let their kids pick the vegetable. And did it that way. So that way the kids were like, well, no, this is the one you picked. So
You have to eat it.
you have to at least try it.
Try it,
is
right.
how they did it. So it's like they started introducing eggplant and things like that. So, and they started looking into like, well, let's try this Greek recipe. Let's do, Mexican Monday or Tex-Mex Monday. Let's do, and so they made it fun for them and for the kids, where they were trying out new recipes introducing the kids to different things, because then I also introduced the kids to all these different countries and why they eat these different things. And
So it's learning.
exactly. So it
Getting
is a
them involved
fun
in
way to
learning.
do that with families. If you're just a couple, though, it's also fun because it shakes things up. It's not like, oh, great, steak again.
Yeah.
Or, oh, okay, soup.
Again.
Awesome. You know?
Right.
It keeps things a little, and especially if you're able to do it as a couple, that's also a great thing as well.
I like what you said earlier in the interview about people watch the Food Network, and they think, oh, this is how you have to be, and you have to chop so quickly.
Yeah.
You have to, everything's perfect in size, and
Yeah, there are no judges in your kitchen.
right.
Don't, like, just make sure it's cut up and as evenly as possible. Even with me being a chef, even whenever I cook at home, my dice isn't always perfect. It's almost never perfect, and I'm okay with that.
It's done.
Yeah, it's cooked. It's done. It's all right. Let's go. And now my fiance is also trying to learn how to cook now too.
Okay, well,
so
that's nice.
he's in the kitchen a little bit more with me learning. So, and it is fun. It's fun because it's something that we're sharing together. And I'm letting him pick out the recipes, so that's getting a little interesting too.
I'm sure. I don't know if I'd do that with my husband. I'm not sure. I know you teach a lot of workshops, Jen.
I do.
What type of things workshops do you teach?
I actually do a 1-day workshop that I do mindful eating.
Okay.
I also do the importance of sleep and how to get better quality sleep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Something I do have coming up, I partnered with a chiropractor in Upper St. Clair that we are going to be doing a free support group for people with chronic pain.
Interesting.
Starting in January 10th is going to be our first meeting with that. And we're going to be meeting at their office. And I'm going to be talking about, different nutrition, things that you can do to help alleviate some inflammation in your body, and things like that. And we're going to have some other speakers in and use multiple platforms, ranging from speakers to cooking demos to that type of thing. We're just going to try to make it as fun as we can.
Right.
So, but the first meeting is going to actually be at their office. So,
Well, that's
looking
exciting.
forward to that. Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear how that goes.
And then I'm also teaching at CCAC again
Okay.
through their community education program. So I'm doing the basics of a plant-based diet. One time it'll be at their Oakdale Center. Another time it'll be at Fort Couch Middle School in Upper St. Clair.
Okay. So people could find you
So-
very easily. You're around
Yes.
doing workshops.
And then I'm always looking for different places to do workshops as well. So,
And team up with different people like the chiropractor's office.
yes, with different people, even groups and things like that. So I'm always open.
What's next for Jennifer Warlow?
I am actually presently working on a cookbook based on 2 people recipes, or
Okay.
recipes for 2 people. I'm still playing around with the title a little bit, but I actually just pitched it to a literary agent a couple weekends ago
Oh, wow.
at a publishing event
Yes,
that was down
yes.
in Pittsburgh. And so she's like, I'm interested. So go ahead.
Well, that's a
and-
different concept
It is.
because there's a lot of cookbooks out there.
Well, and that's where I got the idea from.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all these cookbooks and I'm like, they're always for parties, for big, for
Entertaining
for
and-
all that. I'm like, well, what about the people that are like maybe 1 or 2 people families? And so that's where I kind of got the idea from.
Oh, that's
And
great.
Just simple, elegant meals because there are perks to having just 2 because you have a little more wiggle room in your grocery budget. So
That's
you can
great.
get some different stuff.
When will that be out?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't.
Sometime in 2019, maybe?
Hopefully.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Okay. I'm going to keep asking you about that. Any final thoughts?
Just try to keep things simple whenever you are trying to take care of yourself, and make sure you take that time for that self-care and to take time to really enjoy your food and the people that you eat your meals with.
Jen, thank you so much for being here and sharing so much knowledge. My goodness, we could do another show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
It was a lot of fun.